As news reporters, we often report on accused persons being sent to jail and serving prison terms. But very rarely do we get an insight into what it's really like to be incarcerated. We have preconceived notions of those who are behind bars, criminals and crooks who we assume are better off being locked up. But there is another side to that story, a side that believes that prisons are all about reforms and deserve human conditions that you and I take for granted. Our guest on the show today is Anca Verma, who shot to fame 4 years ago when the CBI lodged several cases against her, along with her husband Abhishek Verma, and accused in the Navy War Room leak case. Those cases are carrying on. And what Anca is now fighting for is the rights of women who are in prison, and the Chief Justice has made that into a PIL in the Delhi High Court. Anca's never spoken on television before, so we'll be speaking to her. But first, let's take a look. When Anca Verma was arrested along with her arms dealer husband Abhishek Verma by the CBI in 2012, it was a national headline. A former model from Romania was projected by the CBI as an important go-between for information in the CBI's cases of obtaining official secrets and bribing official persons. But 4 years later, the progress of the case has slowed down, and Anca Verma is now out on bail and on a mission to fight for the rights of women prisoners in Tihar. In a letter to the Chief Justice of India last year, she wrote about the state of women in prison, how more than 600 were crammed into a space meant only for 400, how many women were languishing in jail because they couldn't furnish their surety amounts, and how they were mistreated and not allowed proper legal access. The Chief Justice of India took cognizance and converted that into a petition on behalf of the women of Tihar. And now the Delhi High Court has to decide why jail number 6 has turned into a nightmare for women inmates. So Anca's here in studio with us. Thank you, Anca, for speaking to us for the very first time. Also in studio we have Anca's lawyer Maninder Singh handling her case in court. We also have Ajay Verma, who is part of a body that looks at prison reforms, who looks at the state of prisons. It's an international body that does that. Also with us, we have 4 under trials who are women who have spent between 3 to 5 years in jail and will be speaking to us about the conditions in jail. Remember, the Delhi High Court is hearing all of their appeals, 600 women all together writing, and Anca actually leading that as well. But before, Anca, we speak about all the women, I just wanted to ask you, because there's been so much that's been written about you, there's been so much that's been written about Abhishek Verma. We have never heard from you. What do you make of all the things that the CBI said, that you, along with your husband, leaked and obtained official secrets, that you're also part of, the whole corruption cases that the CBI has got. What do you make of all the CBI cases?
In the year 2012, I was falsely implicated in the cases, in the present cases of CBI, along with my husband. The present cases are in the court for the moment, so I don't think we can go in the detail of the case.
It's sub judice, that's
It's sub judice, yes.
But, CBI made you out. There was a lot of speculation at that time. And how did you end up? Because I think what our viewers don't know is that you ended up, you were arrested just 4 days after getting married?
Yes, 5 days.
So it was quite a shock being someone who lived in Europe to ending up right in Tihar.
As regarding the charges, I think this is the duty of the judges and the prosecution to prove their case. So, and regarding our marriage, yes, it was 5 days before our arrest. We were supposed to live in a honeymoon, but we went to Tihar honeymoon, how should I say?
Tihar honeymoon.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, Anca, because I think what happened was, while your name didn't come forward, we all read last year how this letter had gone to the Chief Justice of India, and how all of you are here, 5 of you are here, but how 600 women have appealed for their conditions in Tihar jail to be taken note of. Now, Tihar has, in our kind of view from the outside, Tihar has always been seen as the model jail. That Kiran Bedi came there, she got the Magsaysay award for that. She came and she completely reformed it. What happened inside Tihar that you had to write a letter of help?
During my incarceration in Tihar jail for almost 4 years, I came across to many poor people, poor ladies which are unaware of their cases. So first they are unable to pay their lawyers which can defend the case before the court. They don't have mulakat for a long time. They could not see their child for a long family.
We should tell our viewers, when Anca says they don't have mulakat for a long time, mulakat is a system in jail.
Meeting their family.
Meeting
yes.
their families, where you and your families are allowed to come and meet you twice a week.
Yes, twice a week, where three person, family or friends, they can visit you for 30 minutes and you can see them through a window, glass window. The problem for a female prisoner, speaking from a point of view, when they are sending you to jail, it's maybe someone may did a crime or may not. As I said, this has to be proved. But the family is suffering. You know, most of the ladies, they may be the person who is earning the money for the family. By the time they are sent to jail, when they are sent to jail, the children are remaining on the street. You don't know about their education, if they have a food to eat, if someone is telling them a story at the time for sleep, or if they have clothes or going to school. Their education is suffering. Plus all the stress for the mother, for the child, for the entire family. See, by sending a female or a person to jail, I think around 20 people they are affected on indirect.
Now this is amazing that there would be people, and this is Asia's largest jail. There would be people there that don't get. As a lawyer, Maninder Singh, is that surprising to you that these women, that the women who are there, many of them don't have legal access? Because isn't that a basic right?
It does surprises me a lot actually when I hear all this. Actually, you see, when we read in papers, and as a lawyer, as an officer of the court, as a person who is in the bar for the last about 24 years, I read that Delhi court does provide about legal services. There is a Delhi legal services, there is a legal services in trial courts. But what comes as a surprise is when you speak to these under trials, and they come and tell you that the lawyer came and no access was provided, that there was no check, he did not help us. So in that situation, what happens is these people who are in jail, they are coming to somebody like Anca, who can write, who can read English, who can understand the law. And that's how everybody started coming to her, because they are not getting that kind of a help from lawyers which they should get. As a legal services lawyer who goes to jail, he is supposed to help every inmate with his application, with his case, or maybe if they want to know something, but it does surprise me.
I want to ask, आप सबके वकील थे? आप लोग सबने 3 से 5 साल सबके वकील थे? मिलते थे आके?
सरकारी लॉयर
थे, लेकिन वो आके मिलते थे आपको?
नहीं,
कभी नहीं मिले?
नहीं।
आपको पता था कौन था लॉयर?
हाँ।
और लेकिन कभी नहीं मिलने?
नहीं।
See, the system what existing today in Tihar or all over India, but I will specifically talk about Tihar. As number one, as Anca pointed out about the person who are incarcerated in jail and what happens to their kids' education. And I wanted to inform you that last year, pursuant to the High Court direction, there is a policy formulated by Delhi government that anybody's parent, one of the parent who is lodged in any case, that their kids will get a stipend of 3,500 approximately, so that they can't stop their studies, or if there somebody has to pay this the school fees or some. This is one aspect. Now, second is legal aid.
Yes.
See, the State Legal Service Authority in Delhi has various districts. So every district there is a secretary who is judge, who comes on deputation, and in Tihar, one jail is adopted by each secretary. Now, there are various structure. One is that the jail visiting advocates visiting in jail on behalf of the legal service district legal service authorities for the under trials for the district courts. Now, there are other lawyers who are coming from High Court Legal Service Committee to the jail, and they are rendering assistance for the purpose of drafting the application and appeals to be filed in the High Court.
Yeah.
there are two categories of lawyers. So everybody is giving them legal aid. Now there are issues. There are issues is that some inmates don't get access to those lawyers. That's why the directions are issued that the lawyers should go to the inmates even in Liza wards.
Yeah,
And
but I also heard that lots of lawyers just take the money from the women and never come back. So that's a problem as well, right? Anca, did you see that happening with a lot of the women who were there?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here. The money aspect, I don't think so that any legal aid lawyer is authorized to charge any money. And I think if that thing happens, that should be reported to the superintendent and the legal service authority immediately so that the lawyer's access is stopped. Now, in case the majority of the inmates I have come across when I conduct the awareness event on behalf of my organization, is they have some private lawyers or they paid some lawyer, and especially the person who was not Indian citizens, they paid a lawyer a fees who does not come up in court.
Right.
He's not filing the application. What do? They can approach the legal service authority or they can ask the court, but that's the problem.
And it's about the private lawyers, not about the DLSA lawyers.
Yeah,
because
of course, the private lawyers take money and then never come
yes,
back.
there are many foreigners which they have no family in India. It's not my case. So they have
Are there many foreigners in jail?
around 35 or 40.
Of them, out of the 600 women, 35 or 40 of them are foreigners.
Yes.
So they face major problems.
Yes, because they have no family in India, and they need someone to come to bring some items for them. So the embassy is not supporting them too much. That's another problem, and even they are relying on the donation which they receive from the jail for clothes, because they cannot stay for years. Sometimes their cases of 7 years. Some foreigners are convicted for 10 years, so depends on their cases.
Anca, I wanted to ask you, when we look at these pictures that are flashing of you and the other under trials in jail, it's a very different impression that we all have. We don't expect, you look like yourself, you know, you're dressed in nice clothes. A lot of the other women as well look like themselves. This is not the impression that all of us outside have of women in jail. Can you explain to us, because you know everyone looks lovely and regular, so can you explain that to us?
These photos are during the official functions, so of course we have a photographer when he's coming, so we try our best to look as good it's possible, because for example this was a way for me to, my family to see me, because they could not see me, they could not come due to the language problem. My parents, my father, that is unwell, so it was a single way for them to see me, otherwise they could not see me for 4 years.
And women you managed to get access to your own clothes. That is something perhaps a lot of people wouldn't know, that you can get clothes from home.
Everyone can get, every prisoner can receive clothes 2 times per week from their family through the mulakat. So
but for some special needs, we had to take the order for her from the court.
Subject to certain restrictions.
Certain restrictions, but we took orders from the court for her some clothes.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to come back to this petition and the problems that people face. Your petition mentions there is beating and torture inside the jail as well, which is a really serious charge. Can you give us instances of that, Anca? You won't want to talk about it?
yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, Ajay Verma, I wanted to ask you, is that still happening, beatings of prisoners?
See, according to my experience, I have not come across with any of this incident, because even last month...
Not in Tihar?
Not in Tihar, in 6 numbers.
But in other jails?
By the staffs, especially, but the staffs have reported that the inmates, inmates, these issues might have happened, and for this they have to take certain restraint to remove them.
So
but
certain prisoners would be especially aggressive with the other prisoners.
Yes, that instances might have happened, and it has been reported also. But so far as staff, as she has also talked about one of the officer, and I have come across the last one, last month, it was very good experience because the one-on-one meeting they have, and they have a very good child care system in the prison, and the superintendents take whole day interviews.
I think what's important to understand when one goes through the details of this petition is that what we may not know is that it's only convicts who are allowed to have a job, and through that job they get paid. It's a minimal of 90 rupees per day, which is the payment which I've been told, right? 90 rupees per day, that's what convicts get paid for any job that they do. They can work in the IT section, work in other parts of the jail, but under trials have no source of income, which is why for people who don't have family, like Anca had family, Anca had backing, she comes from, you know, her husband's very influential, and so she had that financial backing. Other inmates didn't have that. Anwara Begum, आप बता रही थी कि क्योंकि मुलाकात नहीं था, आपकी कोई फैमिली मिलने नहीं आती थी, तो आपको पैसे की बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी. आप बताएंगे उसके बारे में?
मतलब वहाँ बाहर से बहुत सामान आते थे, तो जिसकी मुलाकात नहीं आते उनको देने के लिए उन लोग नहीं देते थे, वहाँ से कुछ भी सामान नहीं मिलते थे.
पैसे की जरूरत कब पड़ती थी? क्योंकि हम लोग सोचेंगे मतलब, जेल में तो खाना भी
कैंटीन से मतलब साबुन सर्फ वगैरह बहुत कुछ, और खाने का भी चीजें खरीदने के लिए
पैसे की जरूरत होती है, जो आपके पास नहीं थे. तो आपको क्या करना पड़ता था फिर?
तो मैं किसी के काम करती थी.
So this is an interesting aspect, that a lot of the prisoners who are living in jail, they're working for other prisoners for a salary. Maninder Singh, this is something perhaps none of us knew about.
It is actually news to me as well.
Oh, it's news to you.
Yeah, I mean, according to me, it's not allowed. It is completely something which the prisoners might be indulging, and if there's something,
completely illegal.
It's illegal. It is not allowed.
But perhaps it's that Anca.
It is not in the jail manual. I would say that.
But Anca, this happens quite a lot, right? Of people working for people.
Yes.
Because it's like a parallel economy happening. Tell us how that happens. Like, so basically for women, it's helping out women who have no other means of supporting themselves.
For example, in jail number 6, there are around 600 prisoners.
Right.
So it's a small jail comparing with other male jail. They are working around 147 convicts. Maximum, this is the number of the convict people in female convict person. So all of them, they have to work as part of remission, and because
they are the ones who have official jobs.
Yes.
So 450 are under trials.
Yes.
And so how many of the 450 are working like Anwara Begum?
That's I'm not aware, but probably all of them, they are working. First of all, they are working on they're willing to work for. No one is forcing them.
Of course, yeah.
No one is forcing them.
Yeah.
So, second, they need money and they cannot have a job inside the jail, and most of the prisoners are busy. They were indulged in the education. Judge Superintendent, she organized many educational programs. They were doing English classes, stitching centers they have for learning tailoring, beauty classes. The authorities, they try to keep them as much possible in a way to reform them. But one single problem is a female sometimes is thinking, how can I learn English, or how can I learn to write something when I don't know where is my child? I don't know what's going on with my child. So there were so many problems it's very difficult for a female to be in jail. And
how do they meet their children?
For example, for meeting the children, for female prisoners, if the kids are admitted in a hostel out of the jail, they'll come once in 3 weeks or something like this. Anu can tell us, because she have 3 children. And they will meet in Diodi. They will have a 30 minutes mulakat with their kids. So
up to 6 years old child they are allowed to keep in the prison, and there's a separate.
But older children?
Older children, as she said, that is
it's not possible. Only till 6 years they can stay with a mother in jail.
So those mothers go through it's very, very traumatic for them. Because is Skype allowed at all to talk to your child?
Skype is allowed with a great difficulty.
No, you're saying no, Ajay Verma.
I think as of my knowledge, Skype is not allowed.
No, I'm sorry, I can correct. It's a circular number 50 of 2014.
Yeah.
Passed by the DG, Ms. Vimla Mehra, which it's allowing a foreigner to interact with their family abroad for up to 15 minutes by Skype. It is a circular of the jail. It's passed by the
We'd also moved a petition in the
You
High
fought
Court,
for this as well, for getting it for yourself, that facility.
Actually, it existed. It was not being given. So I had to file a writ petition on her behalf to get that.
Adding to Anca's information, what she has just talked about, the courses, and I think that's really good thing happening in these jails, where the beautician courses, where the stitching courses, and then nowadays the artificial jewelry courses are being conducted. And
you're talking about beautician courses. I think one of the most surprising things that came across is, I don't know, I'm sure viewers didn't know, because I didn't know about it till I spoke to her as well, that there is a beauty parlor in jail. Anca, who runs that beauty parlor?
Beauty parlor, it's run by one convict or two convicts, most of the convicts people. So I think before my departure there are around one under trial and convicts working there. So are some people which they learn all this doing haircut, everything they learn in jail.
So it's to learn how to do that.
Yes, not they are not professional, but they were willing to learn something. So the jail give them a chance, at least when they are behind the bars, they could educate themselves a little bit and to do something which may help them after release from the jail.
Okay, so the High Court is going to give its order very, very soon. I just wanted to ask all of these women, जो ये petition चल रहा है, आप लोगों को क्या लगता है कि क्या सुविधा आ जाने से जेल में सबको बहुत ज़्यादा जो परेशानी है वो कम हो जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ है? हाँ फरीदा, जो बहुत
यही कि जिनकी मुलाकात नहीं आती उनको भी वर्क प्रोवाइड किया जाए और उनके साथ मिलकर चलना ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा। वहाँ का एक ही प्रॉब्लम है कि अगर सुप्रीम मैम उन सबकी बात सुन लें तो बहुत कुछ चेंज हो सकता है। जैसे कि कुछ लोग बहुत ज़्यादा गरीब हैं, वो बोलने पर आते हैं तो उनको ये कह दिया जाता है कि तुम काम करो। जब उनको काम दिया जाता है तो काम ज़्यादा हार्ड होता है और अमाउंट उतना ही कम।
And a lot of women in jail who are just there because their bail money has not been provided, right?
That is one of the points we've taken.
Yeah.
That the bail amount should not be so high that they're not able to fill that. And if they you don't fulfill the bail amount,
this is the judicial pronouncement is already in force. I mean, R.D. Upadhyay's case in the court is now in Supreme Court. There is the petition pending, which is coming in August also, where the various direction has been passed, such as 436A. That's the person who are involved in a case where punishable offence is, let's say, X years. And if they have completed half of the sentence, they can be released on bail. Now the question is, majority of them, suppose they have got the bail, but they are not able to furnish bail bonds. So for that they say that you should follow the direction. If there is a possibility, release them on personal bond.
Okay, so we really hope that all of the women get that kind of facility and the court passes those orders. Final question, Anca. You were one of the... Yeah,
May
go
I
ahead.
say something?
Yeah.
A few problems which are for the prisoners. For example, we used to leave from the jail around 8 o'clock in a van which it's impossible to breathe. Most of the van are high-rise van, so the air barely is entering through the holes. The small kids which are in jail with their mothers, they have to go with the mothers in the court because they will not stay alone or with other people.
My God.
So they have to travel 1 hour and 30 minutes, depends on the traffic, in a suffocating van. Most of them, some of them, they were puking in the van. We could not have a condition, even you have to stay there to support, to have the smell and what's happening, because you have no other option.
So children go to the
Children,
court?
yes, they are traveling along with their mother to the court because you see it's a way for them maybe to see the family which is coming in the court.
Yes.
Some other people, they cannot come to the
Yes.
to the jail, but they will visit the family in the court. So they have to suffer this hassle of the transportation in a
So that's
high
one
risk.
important thing that
Yes.
the court has to really take care of. So hopefully people are listening to that. I just wanted to ask you, you were one of the few under trials who also had their husband in jail, even though it was a separate jail. You're in jail number 6, which is the women's one, and he was in another jail. Do husband and wives get to interact at all?
Yes, every prisoner, as per the Delhi jail manual, they can meet each other for 30 minutes every Saturday, except second Saturday when is a holiday. So we used to have mulakat like everyone in a hall with all the prisoners. It's coming, all these mulakat is happening jail-wise. Jail number 1 is
But you
coming.
were saying that women whose husbands might have a different, an alias or written their names differently, if they can't meet their husbands.
That's a problem, yes. They could not meet their husbands. Maybe at the admission time on the jail, they were so scared, they didn't know what's happening to them.
Okay.
So they give a wrong name and they could not meet their husband. They have to apply to the court or to file an application before the superintendent for clarifying the matter, and after this they were allowed to have their mulakat with the husband.
Well, I think all of you have really provided us with a lot of insight into what's really life like behind bars, and good luck with your case and the petition, and hopefully the 600 women of Tihar jail have their voice heard as well. That's it on our special show. Thank you all very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.